out and have an easy process and smooth system that makes Senior Life unique, makes Senior Life better than everybody else, makes Senior Life the company that, pays my back end, pays my pay throughs, pays my renewal checks. I literally just bought a house with two pay through checks. I don't know if you guys know this, but I literally just bought a house with two pay through checks. So I've been with Senior Life for almost 23, 24 months. And these pay through checks come in between $4,000, $9,000, $11,000 a month. It's very random. You don't really get to understand what all goes into a pay through yet. And so what happened was I was like, I didn't even really have a down payment saved. But I was like, you know what? I really want this house. I'm just going to go ahead and sign the papers. I know I have a pay through check coming in. Boom. They wanted 10 grand. I got paid 10 grand on the 7th. I sent them the money. Next month comes in. They want another part of the down payment. Next month, boom, send the money. So Senior Life is able to buy me a house in 2 months, and I didn't have to save up for a down payment because I'm getting a fat $7,000, $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 check every single month from the work I did over the last 23 months. That's something that I was able to build in a very short amount of time. Doug Blake has been here for 10 years. His pay through checks are probably $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Right? It's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. When I know Bianca, her name was on the scoop. She was getting $17,000 pay through checks. She's been here for 3 or 4 years. The reason why we're here at this life insurance company is because they pay big checks on the back end. I'm making my upfront commission, my back end commission, my residuals, my renewals, my pay throughs, my overrides. And I'm also a stockholder in the company. So 15, 20, 30, 40 years from now, if I want to pull out 110 grand, 130 grand, I'm able to pull that money out cash, put it into whatever investments I want, right? So today we're going to be talking about momentum. Momentum has always been what you guys are. You guys are what's called, I'm going to be calling the power holders. You guys are power holders. You guys have the power in your guys' hands. My job is just to make you recognize that you are what is called a power holder. Momentum is a power holder's friend. Momentum is expressed. If you guys want to take notes on this, this is going to I would come up with a Google Doc right now. Get your journal, get your little notepad. Okay. This is going to be like our nickname. It's going to be the power holders, right? So momentum is the power holder's friend. Momentum is expressed in rhythm and frequencies. Without momentum, you have to start all over again. Momentum is the base. And without the foundation, the frequency of momentum becomes light. In the coming chapters, we are going to discuss the industry of time, the elements of time, and in greater detail, momentum. The power holder is the most productive with momentum, and momentum is at its highest with the power holder. Without momentum, it's like beginning all over again. When momentum is lost, people often find themselves at the edge of an important discovery, only to turn around and begin again. Momentum losers are never finishers. They tend to have more than 29 projects running simultaneously. Here are some momentum killers, okay? Negative emotions that pollute your joy, negative atmospheres as momentum rises. So you guys need to be paying attention to your attitudes that can kill your momentum. Having a false sense of achievement or getting flattered can derail momentum, right? That's pride, that's arrogance, that's ego. Having a false sense of achievement. Oh, I've done this in my life. I've done that. I've done this. I did 250K last month. I did 2 million last year. I'm good now. No, that killed my momentum because I had a false sense of achievement. I'm only 2 years, 3 years into Senior Life. Irrelevant or demoralizing news can deflate momentum, right? We need to be aware of this so we can prevent these things from happening and learn how to navigate them together as a team better in the future. So irrelevant or demoralizing news, right? Oh, the app is down for a day. What are we going to do now? Get to outbound calls. What is our solution, right? Problem solving. So beware of irrelevant and demoralizing news. Okay, when there is no sufficient information to continue trajectory, right? So if there's no path forward, if there's no goals, if there's no plans, if there's no agenda ahead of you, this can slow down momentum. So make sure you have goals and visions that align with your future so you can stay in a good groove of momentum. Okay, bringing heavy payloads, burdens, and responsibilities can slow you down. Emotions can slow you down. Some hiring efforts are not necessary, especially when momentum is high. Bringing in new additions to the team when momentum is high can knock somebody out of rhythm. If you must hire, make sure you're doing it at the right time. Okay, here's 3 laws of momentum. Momentum is your companion as the power holder. Momentum is capital. It must be built on. Momentum is a foundation. It is a structure. It has to be built on. Momentum requires positivity and highly charged atmospheres. Momentum requires highly positive charged atmospheres. So that's what the Zoom call needs to be. Highly charged positive atmosphere. That's what your company needs to be. A highly charged positive atmosphere. Momentum survives when you keep the energy around you supercharged, building each other's up. Gratitude, effort, strength, consistency, dedication. Momentum survives when you keep the energy around you supercharged. Avoid scenarios that negatively charge your atmosphere. This draws from other people's positivity, right? So I said, what are you guys grateful for? If you came on here and you said, oh, well, my mom died this week and, my cat fell off a cliff, that's not supercharging the momentum, right? That's negatively charging the momentum. So be aware of scenarios that charge your atmospheres. This is self-awareness. Consistency, momentum is preserved. Through consistency, momentum is preserved. Okay, here are some tactics that come against your momentum. The tactic of distraction is a weapon used to quench the fire of momentum. Distraction knocks the distracted out of rhythm, and their rhythm becomes out of momentum. Fear is used to scare you out of rhythm and momentum. If you're getting afraid, oh, I'm afraid, I don't want to buy this lead, I don't want to invest in this call. Guys, the calls work. The leads work. They work. All you have to do is work. I don't care if it's 1 million outbounds, 100,000 inbounds. They work every single time. The numbers work. Senior Life works. It is the easiest carrier to make as much money as you possibly want. $5 leads is unbelievable. When I was as a broker at FFL, my $10, $12 leads were the outbounds, right? 10 to 12 bucks. That's an average lead. A $5 Facebook lead is actually insane. It doesn't matter how many phone numbers are bad. It's still a crazy number for $5. Fear is used to scare people out of rhythm. Don't be afraid to keep investing. Senseless talk saps your momentum empty. Senseless talk saps your momentum empty. And then another one, which is kind of funny, but I'll say it, is blackmail. Don't blackmail each other, right? Let's talk things out. Blackmails, that would probably be something we should not be getting into. But let's talk about processes now, okay? I'm going to ask you guys about momentum and processes and things you learned after this chapter. Process is the lifeline of power. Every power holder lives in process. Personal life processes are your foundation of success, right? Your daily habits are your foundation of success. Those who lack life processes face significant setbacks, but a well-structured person has a process and is the guarantor of achieving the outcome they desire. When you take time to study your natural gifts, master your skills, right? So you have gifts, but your gifts must become skills. The most gifted person isn't in the NBA. The most skilled person is in the NBA. He may have had a gift, but he became skilled. So develop your skills and develop a unique set of principles to live by, right? Honesty, integrity, fruit. You create what can be called the rule of your life. Okay, families, the wealthy families, kings, queens, governors, they have rules they live their life by. Dwayne Johnson, look at him, right? You can just look at him and be like, bro, that guy has some rules he lives by, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude was a governor and in movies. He has rules he lives by. Donald Trump has rules he lives by. The wealthiest and the most successful people live by certain set of principles that are tailored to their life specifically to keep them operating at the highest level, right? Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, swimmers, cold therapy, cold plunges, whatever is unique to each and every single one of you guys, this needs to make you operating at your highest level of performance. This guides your framework to make sure you are aligned with your goals and your true potential. Don't let your potential go to waste. Process is the number one preserver of your purpose. So if you have a purpose in life, you have a goal, a massive goal, you want to impact the nation, you want to impact your community, you want to impact your family, you need to have a process to preserve that purpose. Process is like a tunnel that leads to only one destination. If you take a captive audience in a marketing system, delighting customers, keep customers in a process without letting customers slip away, right? Talking about a funnel here. Every business has a unique spirit. Processes fuel your business spirit. So processes also preserve the business spirit. If your business spirit starves, it dies. And that's the end of the business. If your business spirit thrives, there is visible growth. Many businesses stay redundant because their owners do not know the requirement of your business spirit or the lack of resources to meet it. The project state is when a business spirit begins to self-define requirements based on market factors, market needs, and market demands, right? Our business spirit is five presentations a day, 25 a week, 100 a month, 1,200 a year, 25% close ratio, 300,000, minus 60,000 in leads, 20% fall off. You're making 170K off your own personal pen every single year with doing 5 presentations a day. That's our business spirit. If you fall below those guidelines, you're affecting the business spirit. Process improves skills. Processes make average people better. Processes make average people skilled. Process turns average hires into great hires and bad hires into good hires. Processes also fine-tune people's natural gifts, right? So what is the process here at Senior Life? Process is getting to tier one. How do you get to tier one? By any means necessary. $5, live transfers, mornings, evenings, Fridays, Saturdays, 60-day grind until you get to tier one. Go through school, memorize your script, do 4 or 5 practice e-apps, role play, rebuttal practice, get on the call with me and Dayton, be on Zoom, right? These are the processes that have been proven to work. And if you fall out of line with this process, I know you're going to fail, because I've been in the process at Senior Life for over 3 years now, about 3 years. And I know when people are going to fail because they fall off of the process. If you think you can come do it yourself, you have your own process, that's called pride and arrogance, and it's not going to work. When processes is more desirable than creativity. Creativity is great, but hiring someone that's not adapted to your process can bring the wrong flow into your business spirit, right? So if you were like, oh, I'm just going to be super creative, but you're not following the process, processes are better than creativity, right? I'm super creative with my script, but where I've fallen short many times is I'm too creative with my script. I should just follow the script, right? If you do not have a process for your customer service to follow, creative persons may find it easier to get out of your process to service customers, but then they start to communicate the wrong message and can lead your organization into an unfamiliar place. And if you have no processes to integrate your customer service guy, and Alex is trying to help your marketing message, this could rebrand your identity as a company. For example, the customer servant agent Alex manages the company's social media page. Since he interfaces with customers online, Alex needs to improve the company's brand. He gets a design tool to the brand going. This is a classic example of what could happen when no robust processes exist. For some employees, no vital processes exist and no clear policies on how they could access your digital assets if their work requires such usage. A creative person can also be a better choice when you're looking for some disruption into your business. You need innovation in your regular business flow. A creative mind can conveniently break the dead processes and come up with a better process, right? So we still need those creative people in the business. Building blocks of process. The foundation formation of a process is not achieved in a day. This is a journey traveled over time. The building block of a process requires the creation of an end-to-end pathway. The customer service process of every organization is different. Each organization needs to look inwardly, putting themselves in the shoes of their customer and taking the steps the customer will take to find your discovery service. Focused vision. Processes ensure focus on the goal to the core. The process is like a pipe or tunnel. When employees travel through a tunnel, they reach the desired destination. Teams in a free flow environment spend longer to get to a new destination. They'll wander around, fail, and make new discoveries on the way. If they ever get to a destination, then the team, other than processes, Processes ensure that they keep moving towards the destination to keep your team focused. When there is no process in place, teams will go astray, roaming, sightseeing, and getting lost. With a proper process established, your team will face little to no distraction. They will have tunnel vision on the sole focus, getting closer to the end of the tunnel, where light will become brighter and brighter. Hence, everything to do is striving towards the end of the tunnel, which is your process. When designing a process, you have no idea where it will lead, but the best rule for process designs. All right, here we go. 5 rules for starting your process. CJ, Zach, everyone who's going to own a business. 5 designs for starting your process. Number 1 is start with observation. Observation. Number 2 is data. So you want to observe the process, right? How's this client acting at this point in the script? What's the client saying here? How's the cementing going? How long are they staying on the books? Was it affordable? Observation. Is the script making sense? Does the school align? Do we need to move the school around? Do we need to move 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 4 to 1, right? Observation. Help us out, everybody on this call. Let's make these processes smoother and better. 2 is data, right? Whatever data can we collect? Leads, phone numbers, names, addresses. We need data. Data in every type of sort. 3 is knowledge of the carrier, knowledge of the company, knowledge of the product. Do you have a full understanding of the company you're working for yet? Have you been a part of the Ron's calls? Can we get you on the phone with Mitch? Have you Googled Ron Powell yet? Have you watched the interview Ron did on our Zoom call? Do you know who you're working for? Ron Powell, he's a paraplegic. He's a dad of 3 girls. He's been married for over 25 years. He grew up in Thomasville, Georgia, right? Do you have knowledge of the company you're representing? Asking the right questions. Does the script ask the right questions? Are you asking the right questions? Do you understand the process? If you don't understand the process, then you need to get knowledge. Number 5 is documentation, right? Documenting the process. Step 1, get them the onboarding email. Step 2, get them on Zoom. Step 3, hard close them on their $150 background check. Step 4, get them into the processes of the script and the super preferred, standard, modified, and guaranteed. 5, do a lead strategy call. 6, do a role play. 7, get them leads, right? These are the processes that we have in place. These are documented processes. If you don't have them, ask them and we can get you them. Okay. Process designers. A process designer is an effective person that has the skill of creating processes. A great process designer has these following traits. They get to know the stakeholders involved in the company. Right? So did you come in here? Did you learn what Dayton's job is, what my job is? Do you know what Mitch's role is? This is what we're looking for. We're looking for a process designer. Get to know the stakeholders involved in the company. Learn about every single role, how to hire, how to train, how to recruit, how to sell. Learn the day-to-day operational activities of the business. Hire, train, recruit, sell, repeat. Hire, train, recruit, sell, repeat. Hire, train, recruit, sell, repeat. Figure out what challenges we may be facing. Oh, looks like Luke dealt with this. Maybe Luke could use help with this rebuttal. Looks like the client hung up on Luke because he was a little impatient. Maybe Luke needs to have some patience on these calls, right? What are their wins? What are their losses? What are you risking? And what do the agents or customers fear? Okay, well, looks like some people are having problems with outbound calls. Okay, looks like they are worried about risking $69 for a call. Looks like they're afraid of going 0 for 5. Oh, but they just went 1 for 6 and they made twice the amount of money back. Okay, look for risk, address the risk, look for the fear, address the fear, and let's overcome them together. Process managers. A manager can become the manager of the process to make the process enforced and reimagined by the process manager. Processes implemented consistently need examination and refinement. Process managers study the company's process because of their interactions with the enforced process. A manager is someone who is on top of the process. Managers are individuals who sit on top of the process. A well-executed process has a manager who understands these 5 things. So if you want to come in here and you want to, look from the outside in with a third-person perspective and eagle-eyes view on our company, these are the things you need to be looking for. Where did something break down? Where did something break down? I'm not too sure what this word means, but it makes sense in this sentence. Managers take out impediments from the process. I'm assuming that's like something bad. Managers take out impediments. from the process. They identify where things can go wrong, right? Okay, where did this guy go wrong? Where did Luke go wrong? Where did this company go wrong? Where did this call go wrong? Where did this hire go wrong? Where did this process go wrong in the recruiting? How come after they bought their $150 background check, they never showed up to a Zoom call? When a gift becomes profitable, then it becomes talent, right? So right now we're refining your guys' process. We're refining your guys' gifts to make you guys talents. Power requires a process. If you want to be a power holder, you must have a process. You must understand the rules of your life, craft a process for your life and for your business, and stick to it. Find a process manager and a creative person to help you automate and correct any areas to create your unique process. All right, here's a little poem they put at the end. I stay in process, I continue the process, I enhance the process, I am assured. I'll say it again. I stay in the process, I continue the process, I enhance the process, I am assured. Sweet. Alrighty, Dayton, what was your some of your takeaways there?
Man, actually, just took 2 pages of notes off of that, bro. So, but anyways, I think really focusing in on the momentum part, right? Like how often, like I've noticed in my own life, it's easier to show up to work each day when you've got momentum, right? Like it's when you end your workday knowing, wow, I made this amount of dollars, even if you didn't sell anything, right? Like okay, man, I put the work in. Like that's momentum in itself. Oh, I made 2 sales and I'm at 1,000 AP or 2,000 AP for the week. Oh man, I got momentum, so it makes it easier to show up the next day. Any time in my life that I've been the most excited about the work that I'm doing, it's because I had put the work in to establish momentum. Why? Because whenever you know that things are flowing and you're no longer feeling like you're having to break through a bunch of resistance, it's a lot easier to get excited about what you're doing, right? And so I think it's very, very important for all of us to audit what are the momentum killers in our life. Like, what are the things that are constantly happening in life that are always disrupting our rhythm? They're always coming as a distraction, whether it be people, events, bad habits, poor timing, mismanaging time, all these different things. Like, what are the momentum killers that are causing me to not be able to stick to my schedule, that are causing me to not be able to perform each and every single day at the level that I know I can perform at, right? What is it that's killing my rhythm and my momentum in building this sizable business that I want to build, right? So yeah, I mean, really, really focusing in on that, and then you just kind of talk more about processes. Luke knows me, man. I love processes. I love systems. I love looking into how we can automate certain things or how we can push this button or that button and how it can make the business easier, right? And so kind of just leaning into that. Like it's good to be creative, but also it's good to just follow processes, right? Because creativity is cool, but if there's no process, things can get really, really chaotic for you. So really, really good information, Luke.
Absolutely, that was awesome. Zach, what about you?
I mean, it seems sort of simple to me, and this is like going to be kind of a short answer, I guess, but if you show up, put in the work, and keep the right attitude, success is pretty inevitable.
Let's go. You're so right about that. That's awesome. CJ?
Dude, that was good. That was some good stuff.
Was that the most
Yeah,
you've learned since high school, CJ?
yeah, 100%. That was
That's
the
good.
most that gave me goosebumps, Luke.
Let's go.
The right environment, momentum, and then having a process, and then Dayton, what you just said, identifying the momentum killers, and then just what's required to stay in a process and refine it and get it better, and how the momentum builds up. It's gonna, yeah, that was freaking money, Luke and Dayton.
That's good, man. You better start
Identify
implementing some of that stuff, CJ.
What?
You better start implementing, CJ. You
Oh
better
yeah,
come up with a process for your life. I want to have a 10-step process for your morning routine by the end of the day, CJ.
hell yeah, okay. Yeah, I
All
know,
right.
I need Cefe, thank you.
Adrian, you look like a man of processes, man. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine, the process you go through, and how you're going to implement processes to be successful in this business.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway was the process. Whether it's a designer, manager, whatever, you got to come in and see who's doing the best, and then implement, and then add the things that are making you do well. Do well. For me, it's like I wake up, drown water, lay my yoga mat out, stretch as quick as possible, then I go get my heart rate up. If I don't get my heart rate up early in the day, I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. So I just like priming myself for the day, and then whatever I need to do after that, I do it. Work, grab myself some caffeine, delay the caffeine as long as possible, and then I just get straight to it. But yeah, no, my biggest takeaway was definitely the process, like just watching who are the killers in the company, and then just go and like iterate and implement and become it for sure.
That's
Dang.
awesome. I love that. Rhett, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I would say don't get too high when things are high, and don't get too low on the things that are low. Like you said, when the app goes down, we're still insurance agents. We were born to be outbound. So stay good on the simple things.
That's good. Absolutely. If you guys don't know, Rhett Scott, he does over 60,000 a month when he tries. His simple process is just literally get to work. He's super witty on the phone, extremely intelligent, smart when it comes to client relationships. The clients literally at the end of the call, he makes the clients think that they're his long lost grandson. So if there's anything you want to learn from Rhett, it's making the client love you to the point of where they literally think you guys are related. And that closes most of his deals, but he also works harder than everybody else when he wants to. So if he wants to make 40, 50, 60K in a month, he wants to write down and have a $15,000 and so we're happy to have you already. And if anyone else wants to add anything, let us now's your time. Please go ahead.
I think I'll just add, you probably know, Luke, I mean, I live by a schedule, and that really just kind of dictates my day. And so everything that you said is pretty much how I implement things. So if anything kind of goes differently, or doesn't go my way, I just kind of go back, and I just get right back into it. And I try to and anything that's going in the wrong direction, I just try to get refocused and just try to not let anything that's negative impact my day, and, try to put that aside. And you guys, you can't let anything that's going negative. You've got to put that aside and just focus on your day, and don't let that impact. I mean, when you're working from home, you have to stay focused.
That's so true. I love that. Absolutely. When you're working from home, you're required to, have your own sense of level of achievement. No one's hovering over you, telling you what to do. So having that discipline is super important.
Yeah, you've got to have your own accountability.
I love that. And so for this business, right, the goal for everybody is to get to tier one. So if you're not on tier one, your goal is to get there by, let's say we got April. So we're in March, and then April, so May. So I think May would be the best time. Am I saying that right? May would probably be the best time, Dayton?
To get tier one from here?
Yeah, so if we're almost at the end of this month, so they're not going to be able to they could put 5 to 10K of post dates down. They really worked hard. But if they're not, then they have all of April to post date into May. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you guys really think you can do it this month, you think you can go and write 10K this month, you've written 10K in 2 weeks before, then you can do this, right? It's easier to write business at Senior Life than any other carrier. I'm telling you that straight up. So if you think you can hit it next month, you still have 10 days of post dates, right? The month's not over. You still got a lot of time to post date in the next month. So that would be like CJ. CJ, I want you to go for tier one next month, because you've already had a few post dates from the beginning of the month. You need to push the pedal to the metal this month. Okay, you've got those leads in your outbound calls. So I want you to do those unmuted today. Call them at least 9 times a day. 3 in the morning, 3 in the late afternoon, 3 at night. Okay, all 100 of them. That's what is that? 900 calls a day. right? Like at this point, you're at that point right now where you need to do everything you can to get to tier one, life or death. Okay, like literally life or death. Because once you hit tier one, it is so much easier to stay on it. It's so much easier to stay consistent. It's so much easier to battle it through. Most people aren't going to hit tier one, right? Most people on this call, I'm just going to tell you right now, aren't going to be on tier one. I hired over 200 agents last year. I think only 10 or 12 ever hit tier one, right? But the people that hit tier one, they wanted it more than they wanted it. I can look at somebody, I could see their work ethic, I could see their numbers they're putting up, and I could tell if they're going to be able to hit tier one. Armani, you should have hit tier one by now. Calling you out, Armani, you should have hit tier one by now. You need to step it up. Okay. Everyone else, I'm waiting to see your guys' fruit. I'm waiting to see you guys blossom. So Dayton, what are some keys to getting to tier one?
Well, first off, it's going to come down to activity, right? Like everything in this business, it's all a numbers game. You know, whether you're new at senior life or you've been in insurance before or whatever, it's all about activity, right? Work ethic, effort. That is like the number one thing. And obviously what we talked about is your mindset, showing up, making sure that your mind is girded up and in the right place, that you prepared yourself to come to work for the day, right? Because you're going to get hit with challenges. You're going to get hit with adversity when you get on the phones, right? Maybe you're going to lose a couple of deals, or someone's, not going to close when you thought that they were going to, whatever, you might get some cancellations. Anything can happen. So we got to make sure our mind is ready for the day. But more than anything, if you're going to hit tier one, it all comes down to activity, right? How many dials are you willing to make? How many people are you willing to talk to, right? How many presentations is it going to take? And I think, it comes down to knowing your numbers, being realistic with yourself to understand, okay, what is it going to take for me personally to hit tier one this month, right? So I crossed the tier one mark like 4 or 5 days ago, okay? And there's still a month left. So for me personally, right, it came down to me just showing up. I'm like, if there's anything that Dayton's going to do, I'm here every single day applying pressure. There's no sometimey. Like I'm here applying pressure every single freaking day, literally. And I'm constantly figuring out, okay, how can I only focus on how can I talk to more people? Because I know that if I talk to enough people, the numbers will always play out in my favor. Secondly, be coachable. When you're presenting and when you're on the phone, don't be scared to be unmuted. No one's here to make fun of you or judge you. If someone's telling you, just like what Luke was saying to CJ earlier, like, hey, make sure you're doing your calls unmuted, it's so that people can help you. Because if you're suffering in silence and you're muted because you're afraid of what someone's going to think of you and you don't want them to hear you on the phone, no one can coach you. No one can give you feedback. And so you're going to continue on in bad habits that are going to keep you from your goals. So especially if you're new, and like we always say, if you're not doing 5K a week at least, like be unmuted. And even if you are overdoing on the numbers, just think there's somebody else that could probably learn from you. So I know I don't necessarily need someone to coach me on a call at this point. I know what I'm doing, but I still present unmuted so that someone else can learn from what I'm saying. And I still ask for feedback when I get off calls, right? So number one, activity, apply pressure, right? Make sure your mind's in the right place. Show up every single day. All right, give yourself a chance. Just freaking show up, okay? Be coachable and make sure that, hey, you've got enough leads, okay? Talk to your upline, talk to Luke, whoever it is that brought you in. If you're having an issue with getting leads, talk to someone about it so we can figure out a game plan for you, right? There's always a way we can work around to figure something out to make sure you can be successful, right? So you got to have enough leads. You got to have enough people to talk to every single week, every week. Don't just depend on that one lead pack you bought 2 weeks ago. You got to get some fresh blood in your business every week. Leads are the lifeblood of your business, right? And then lastly, I would say sharpen your skill set. Every time that you hear something on the phones, maybe you didn't close that deal, figure out why. Figure out what you could have done next time. Now, at the end of the day, not everybody's going to be a close. Some will, some won't. So what? You got to move on, okay? But at the end of the day, always try to figure out and take accountability and responsibility for why that deal didn't get closed, why you weren't able to help that person, so that you can at least leave the call with more wisdom, more understanding on what happened and what you can do next time, all right? But honestly, I can't say I did anything crazy. And also, I would say this: be aggressive. I'm not saying that as in like be rude to clients, but if you're going to lose a sale, lose it on your account, right? Lose it at least trying for it, right? Most of the deals that I've closed this month, I had to overcome some objections when I went to close them. CJ's heard me close a couple deals where I had to basically like really keep overcoming those objections to get the deal across the line. Don't just take no for an answer. It's your job to protect the client. It's your job to make them understand and know that they need to get this in place. Whenever someone says, I just want to think about it, freaking have your rebuttals ready in front of you somewhere so that you know what to say. Don't just say, oh, okay, I'll call you back later. Like when someone says, I need to go talk to my kids, you need to have that rebuttal ready up in front of you. Those are actually two of the most easiest objections to overcome. They're both just smoke screens. They're so easy to get by. You can still close those deals, but you got to be prepared for it. How are you sharpening your skill set? At least try. Don't ever, ever, ever just let no be no. Don't ever, ever, ever just let someone off the phone with you. All right? Fight for it. Push for it. Understand what you're selling and know that the client needs it. Believe in your product. Believe in who you are as an agent. But yeah, I would just say, like he said, what are some things that helped me to grab tier 1 already this month? And just effort. Showing with the right mindset. Not everything went right for me, but I never let myself get in the trenches in my mind. I never let myself get too low. Just like Rhett was saying, don't get too high, don't get too low. Stay emotionally even keel. Right? You gotta have some emotional intelligence, meaning you never let your feelings and emotions govern you, but you're aware of how you're feeling and you know how to process things so that you don't get yourself in a hole. But anyways, we're here to help you guys. Anybody got any questions or concerns, anything you're needing help with, whatever it might be?
One thing that you, just to build on what you said about the no's, I heard somewhere selling doesn't start until you hear no for the third time. And it's like we're salespeople, we're gonna hear no all day. So we're not digging for gold to run into one person that doesn't say no at all, where that's our job to fight through the no's.
Absolutely. It makes it just like what you're saying, CJ. It's easier to show up every day and do your job when you know that resistance is just a part of this job. You're going to get resistance on some calls, and it's up to us to develop your skill set in the after hours so you can be ready for it. You're going to get resistance. Why would you show up not prepared? Why would you show up and you haven't practiced or rehearsed any kind of rebuttals or objection handling? Why would you not master your script so that you can kill objections up front before they even pop up in the close, right? I believe that's the best salespeople. If people think that the best sales professionals are the ones who can handle every objection, like, no, it's those that can kill them all up front before they even run into it, and then handle them if they pop up later, right? So if nobody else has anything else to say, we're going to have a great day today. Let's figure out what our goals are going to be as far as activity, how we can apply pressure and establish rhythm and momentum in our lives, personally, and as far as business goes and financially. What is it going to take for you to establish momentum today? What are some things that you need to audit in your life to stop doing and say no to in order to be successful and hit your goals that you want to hit? So I'm here, Luke's here, whoever else is here if you need help. We're going to be on Zoom, obviously, and let's get this thing started, man. Let's have a big day. Let's crush it. Everybody here has the capability of being something great, so let's do it.